What's up, fellow fantasy loving friends? Josh here with RSMP Tabletop, and I'm beyond excited because last month in January, I went down to EVERWINTER to film a ton of different game stuff. So first of all, I'm terrible with directions. This trip worked out perfect where I was just able to drive into Boston, park, walk into the convention center, and then boom, I was right there, right in the mix of everything. The first thing that I stumbled across was the painters and the painting alley. This is where they kept the stuff that was gonna get judged. And it was just crazy to see because when you look at stuff that's painted this good, it honestly looks like it had to have been done by a machine. So it's just like, it's so clean, it's so crisp, it looks so good. It's just wild to think that like another person that took the time, the creativity, and has the ability to do something amazing like this. And then I met this dude, and you guys know me, so the first thing I did was like, hey, can I throw a camera in your face and ask you questions? And he said yes, so we got this.
Who are you, and what are we doing here today?
My name is Wyatt Birch, and I am here for the painting competition. Been into the hobby for a really long time. I haven't really done any painting competitions before, just some really small ones at the local club, and I was getting some pressure from the other guys to bring my models to something bigger, so here I am.
What did you paint for this competition?
I painted, this is Gazbag the Gaudy. He is a freebooter orc war boss. So I did a lot of freehand on him and converted him out of a ogre man-eater and a bunch of bits, and I built his claw out of cardstock and things like that. So I'm pretty happy with him. I started this model on Wednesday, so I've been up for like 40 hours painting because I wasn't happy with anything in my case already.
Right after I finished up with the painting, I walked out and I walked into this like mini dev area where there was these two guys that were making these different games and stuff. So I sat down, I started checking them out, and I talked to one of the developers right here.
Who are you, and what are we doing here today?
I'm Zach. I'm one of the two designers of Breachstorm. We're a small-scale sci-fi tactical miniature game. Plays in about an hour. You play about 6 to 8 models a side, and it's asymmetrical, so there's actually an attacker and a defender. And so when you guys build your list, you'll pick one of each objective type. The winner of the roll-off gets to pick if they want to attack or defend. The second phase of the game is you actually get to place the terrain yourself, so you'll alternate like competing for which pieces of terrain you want to place. You deploy, and then your goal is to get to 10 points and have more than your opponent. And so if you guys tie at the end of round, say 10-10, you go to the next round. If you guys tie at the end of that round, 13-13, you keep going. So you'll either win on scenario or you'll table your opponent. It's alternating activation with a twist. You'll activate a field officer who in turn will bring some of your guys' infantry along with them. You typically activate about a third to half of your guys on each turn. Thanks so much. All of our rules are online at breachstorm.com for free, so come check us out. We have 3 game modes. You can play 1v1, multiplayer up to 4 people, and we also have a co-op narrative game mode with like story missions. Your guys like sustain damage and get injuries and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun.
If you haven't yet, go over and follow us on Facebook because a couple of the other vendors I did small videos for, they're on our Facebook, and I do a lot of pictures when I go to the events and stuff. So also go to the Facebook and like it and follow it because you can go and see a ton of the pictures that I post at these events as well. After I was done talking and bothering the game devs, I walked out to this room that was just full of Warhammer stuff. And right off the bat, there was this like rat in this wheel that just really impressed me. Warhammer oftentimes, like when I walk in and I see the big scale of the game and you know everybody playing with all their painted stuff, it's really hard not to fall into that world and just be like, wow, and understand why it's got so much like magic to it because it really is something special. These guys here, when I first got there, I had my headphones in, so they were trying to talk to me real quick, and they probably thought I was like the biggest jerk because I ignored them. After I took my earbuds out and started talking to them, they knew who I was, and that was actually super cool because here's Warhammer guys that kind of knew who we were from like a predominant Marvel Crisis channel. But I bring that up because not only is this Warhammer here, but we've got tons more Warhammer content coming up in the future. We're gonna focus a lot on Kill Team early on. We're gonna get some battle reports and a ton of awesome stuff with Jared from the BS crew. So stand by, like, subscribe, comment, share, get ready for that awesomeness because it's coming at you. After I left that Warhammer section and all that beautiful art, I found my dudes down at the Marvel Crisis Protocol section. Now, this is awesome. I walked into this room, I think they had 54 entries if I'm not mistaken, but just a ton of people, good energy, throwing dice. I'm starting to see a lot of familiar faces and a lot of people that I recognize, so it's super cool to walk into these places because when I first started doing this, we weren't getting a lot of comments, a lot of likes and stuff, and quite frankly, like a lot of people weren't really they didn't know who we were at the time, so they weren't really talking to us when we walked into places, so I wasn't getting a lot of feedback to see if people really enjoyed what we were doing or not. And walking in here was awesome because a lot of people came up to me and said that they loved the videos, they loved what we were doing, so that motivates me and the rest of the team. So honestly, if you guys ever see us out in the wild, please always feel free to come up, talk to us, tell us your favorite thing about the channel, tell us what you'd like to see improved on the channel. Again, we know we're not perfect and we definitely want to make that stuff better, but we'd love to hear from you guys more often. And honestly, that's why, yes, for the algorithm, it's super important to comment below and like and subscribe and all that stuff, but it really does help us get a metrics of what you guys want to see, what you guys want to hear, and the more videos that we should do in that realm in the future. So if you haven't yet, drop a comment and see what type of videos you want to see in the Warhammer, I'm going to say preferably kill team right now, universe. Do you want to see more player breakdowns and affiliations? Do you want to see battle reports? Because I know Jared's going to go through the comments here and he'll try to set up something nice and sweet for anybody that leaves a little something something. So go ahead and post a comment now. That's my shameless plug. Let's get back to the video now. But back to the games and the things that actually matter and important. So I'm in this room filled with a ton of awesome people playing Marvel Crisis Protocol, and I look over and I see the professional casual just chilling over there. These guys are streaming the games, they're giving live color commentary. It was super awesome. And then when I got to talk to some of them, they said that they watch our channels and they really like what we do. So I thought that was awesome. So here, get to meet these guys quick.
Hi, I'm Tim from the Professional Casual Network. We are here streaming some Marvel Crisis Protocol at EVERWINTER 2025. I believe we have 50 players this year, so it's up over 60% from last year. So MCP is on the rise in the Northeast, which is awesome to see. Over at Professional Casual on the Twitch and YouTube, we're streaming the top table each round, 5 rounds on Saturday, 3-round top cut on Sunday, and it's always an absolute blast. This is one of my favorite conventions. We have the Porco Protocol here, the Montreal Shark Tank, all the guys from Connecticut and Massachusetts and New Hampshire. This is probably one of the most positive player bases for Marvel Crisis Protocol that we've ever had the delight of interacting with and being able to stream and stuff, and it's an absolute blast. EVERWINTER's the place to be. Ironwell in May as well, and guys, we hope to see you here at some point. It's absolutely incredible.
Well, you just blew that out of the water. Thanks so much.
And I guess you should meet some of the other players that I had the chance to interview while I was there.
Who are you and what are we doing here today?
My name's Ben Laka, or Right Mad on the Discords. I'm part of the Park Row Protocol. We're just finishing up round 1. I'm playing, maybe if you could tell, Dracula, blah, 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 and had a great game with one of the Montreal Shark Tanks, Ludo, and it was very, very close. Thankfully, my Immortal Hulk finally woke up, but I'm here just to bite some people. You know what I mean? I mean, it's pretty good. I'm trying to bring, a certain look back, so we're living the dream. We're living the dream, but we're having a great time. This is year 3 for EVERWINTER, and we're having an amazing time. If you're in the Northeast, you should be coming to this event, and we'd love to have you.
Now, were you playing Dracula today because you wanted to dress up like him, or do you think Dracula is the king of Marvel Crisis right now?
So I think Dracula is actually a very, very good character, and I think his leadership is amazing. I think it's one of the most balanced, everyone's affiliated leadership. So I'm here to represent that. I think you can do really well with Dracula in a very competitive event.
My name is Brian Watson. I am the event organizer for MCP at EVERWINTER 2025. We have 50 players going on right now for 5 rounds today, and then we're cutting into a top 8 who are playing tomorrow, and there's another 3-round event where it's a 2v2 team-up game. So yeah, so I'm out here making judge calls and organizing all of the cats and herding them all together to make sure we get this done and have dinner.
What are you the most excited for today?
I am the most excited for seeing who wins okayest player. So that is an award that is given out for whoever comes in the middle. So with 50 players, it's really exciting to see who comes in 25th, because you can't really strive for it, but people oddly try to. It's hilarious. So I always get a kick out of that.
So my name's Kevin! I'm playing Spider Foes today in the MCP tournament, and I Foes is my favorite affiliation, and I haven't gotten as many competitive games in recently as I usually do, so I just was playing something I'm very familiar with and have gotten a lot of reps with, and I just like the way that the affiliation plays, and they're kind of just a bunch of goons that all gang up on, you know, a target and try to take them out. So we're running Green Goblin's version of Spider Foes with mostly all affiliated models except for the newest Loki model that came into the game. So, but they have a lot of fun trap cards and kind of like ping damage cards. So, and that feeds into a lot of their superpowers too. So, while they don't have like the biggest attacks, a lot of their attacks are like 5 and 4 dice attacks. They have a lot of abilities to kind of just like kill people by 1,000 paper cuts. So that's just the style that I like to play with them, and they're just like a fun kind of goon squad to run around. So I was a big fan of, you know, the show, the animated Spider-Man show when I was a kid, and he's like my favorite superhero, but I like to play the villains, the rogues gallery of Spider-Man.
All right, physical, you said?
Yes. You have it.
After that, we broke for lunch. I don't really have any footage for it, but this is why I don't have footage, because this is the time for me, like these are the moments that I'm trying to create that I want to flash before my eyes when I'm at like taking my last breath in life, you know? The game's great, but this is like the people community. A couple of us, Jin, Eric, me, a few other guys, we walked down, we ended up going down to Chinatown. We ended up having one of the best meals we ever ate. We had so much fun, we laughed, we just chilled. Like the conversations and that feeling that I had and created with those guys, like that's what I strive to create more in life in general. So it was just like, that's really what made it special. So I don't have any footage for it because I wanted to live in the moment and experience it and appreciate it. But if you were one of the dudes that were with me then, listen, that was one of the highlights of my entire weekend there and my trip there. So thank you so much for that. And I look forward to making many more of those memories with you guys. Infinity. I had never really heard of, I heard of this game before, I'm not gonna lie, but I never really looked into it. The thing that blew me away about Infinity right off the bat was the terrain. The first thing I saw was there was like this acrylic set that had some lights and some different things that you could tell could be cast through it to just really make the game awesome. There's all these 3D printed stuff, there's like this wood terrain and all this different stuff, but the terrain in this game, out of all the games I've seen so far in my experience as RSMP Tabletop, Infinity's got the dopest terrain. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I was so blown away at just the quality, the size, the scale, and what they were able to do. The other thing that I really loved about the Infinity terrain is they put a lot of little posters. My guess is it's got to be some like world building and some things that probably matter, like around the world and the facility and stuff. And I just thought that was such a nice touch, but I was just blown away. I did hear that the rules can be a little crunchy into this game, but it's something that I definitely want to look into in the future, just based on how unbelievable I thought the terrain alone was.
I'm Derek, and we're doing Infinity, the sci-fi cyberpunk skirmish game from Corvus Belli. It's a sci-fi skirmish game set about 200 years in the future. We've got about 10 or 15 models per side. It's got a really cool integrated turn, so it's always kind of your turn. You can react to the opponent's moves as they make them. And so you're always engaged. Unlike other games, you just kind of sit there while the opponent takes their turn. It's got beautiful models, tons of really cool terrain, and it's a really fun, engaging, active playing experience.
If people want to find out more information about you and what you're doing, how can they do that?
You can find out about the game at infinitytheuniverse.com. We have a Discord set up locally that most of these guys are all part of. I guess we can send you the link for that, and people can jump on there.
I'll have you to say link in the description below.
Link in the description below.
Perfect.
The next thing that I saw that literally blew my mind when it came to terrain, so Infinity, again, by far, top notch, the most impressive that I saw. I have to look over here. So this is Lord of the Rings, Middle-earth strategy game. Walked into this small room, saw these guys playing this game, and again, right off the bat, I was instantly hit with just like the aesthetic and the style and the folklore. You could tell it was just built into the game, and this is something we have to check out in the future. It just seemed like these guys were having a lot of fun, and again, the art, style, decoration alone is enough to make me intrigued. And I got to talk to the guy who was running the event, so let's get to hear what he has to say about this game.
I'm Avery Marjoram, and this is Middle-earth Strategy Battle. We recently started a new edition of the game, and I'm happy to welcome 12 players from across New England and even further to the Doors of Durin 2 at EVERWINTER.
Nice. Can you tell me a little bit about the game?
Middle-earth Strategy Battle game is based off of The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit movie, and the new film, The War of the Rohirrim. And it features all of your favorite characters, monsters, armies from the films and books that you love.
if people wanted to find more information about what you're doing, how could they do that?
They can look us up on Facebook. We have a very active Facebook page. There's the American Strategy Battle Game, ASPGA page. There's the New England Strategy Battle Game, NESPG. We also have the Discord hosted by some of our players here.
Phenomenal, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There was a bunch of other stuff too. They had like some vintage video games and comic books and stuff like that. They had a whole section set up where they were selling swords and things. And then again, I really like the Creator Valley where you can go in and you can see some of these games in either early production or, you know, they're out there just really trying to push their games. And it was just really cool to see. But, you know, there's a ton of different rooms where every single room you can walk into, there's a different game being played. There's a different group of awesome people that are laughing, joking, having a good time. The amount of smiles and happiness that I saw going on in that place was it was unbelievable. It's like, you want to put yourself in situations like that. You want to put yourself around people like that, where you're just, you know, in the best spot you can, just having some fun, rolling some dice with your friends. I think it makes a big difference. So if you're struggling with some mental health issues, if you have anxiety, depression, anything like that, I can't recommend board gaming, hobby, tabletop enough to get into. So if you haven't already, head down to your local game store, walk in and talk to them. Tell them what you like. I promise you there is a game for you. And I want you to join the community, and I want you to come down and roll some dice. If you haven't yet, join and follow the Facebook, because there's a bunch of pictures and small videos and promos that I did for some of the other vendors here at this event. And if you're into any of the game systems, we've got more than Marvel Crisis and Kill Team. We've got a bunch of other game systems. Join the Discord. I know the guys are active in there all the time. People post their painting, their progress, good energy, good vibes. We'd love to see and have you in there. And until next time, stay safe.
You guys are fancy, huh?
Yeah, super fancy. Oh, you want to see some?
Just wait.
Till the sweat drip. Skeet, skeet.